to our live following Veronika's awesome presentation about Tunisian crochet for garments. I hope you all managed to. There were lots of people chatting, weren't there? So we all managed. Lots of people watched to the end, and lots of people were commenting as it went along. And yeah, someone else had the same moment as me of like, ooh, 2 sleeves at the same time. This is appealing. This is very appealing. But there were some questions when they're in the chat in the YouTube that we saw, but that has now disappeared from us. So, but we'll try and read. So if you were asking in there, come back over here and ask us over here what you would like to know. But I've made it no secret that for me, Tunisian crochet is still a bit of a mystery in that I know how to do it, but I just can't quite wrap my head around it. So like that was immensely helpful. And I've watched it like maybe 3 times that video now, and I'm still like, oh, yes. Oh, Michelle's here. Hi, Michelle.
Hi,
I didn't know you had so many Tunisian patterns. No, and neither did I, if I'm completely honest. I went, oh yeah. I remembered them all, but I was like dredging them from my memory. Definitely need to try a few of these. Definitely.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I started with quite a few of them because a lot of those children garments, like the cardigans and sweaters, they were my very early patterns, like when I first started designing. And I released them, and like I said, people were kind of like, okay, this is a bit scary. I'm not sure about Tunisian for garments. So then I kind of diverted away from Tunisian crochet. But yes, those early patterns are still there. So if we're in the middle of Tunisian crochet revolution, then they
I love it. I'm here for it. Oh, Carrie's saying the same as me. How do you do 2 items on a Tunisian hook? I've just been mind boggled in a good way.
So it's pretty much like knitting 2 socks at the same time on your needles. You do need two separate, obviously, balls of yarn, but you could do with Tunisian crochet 2 sleeves at the same time. I did the M-Sam pullover. I did 2 when you kind of split for the V-neck. I did both sides of the front panel at the same time. So it does save time. You kind of, especially with the sleeves, I feel like the sleeves, when we get stuck on a sleeve island, it is a bit long because you make the one sleeve and then you have to go back to make the other sleeve. But if you kind of work on them, it's not that it takes less time, but it's something about the psychology that when you kind of do them at the same time, it does probably take you the same amount of time. But because they're kind of done both at the same time, it's just so much quicker and so much better.
Definitely. You don't have to then start another one, do you? Like, you complete at the same time. Yes. There's a question here about where do we find the link to the offer in the video? I've just put it. I tried to reply to you personally, but it went all funny on me, so I just stopped. So I have put the link in the comments, and I'm also going to make, if you talk amongst yourselves, a little QR code as well that you can zap. Veronika course.
Yeah, so the link is in the comments. I can see it here. The code is already applied to it, so you should just be able to click on it, and it's got the code already applied. Or you can scan the code there, like Hannah just done, for the offer in the video.
Yeah.
To grab the Entrelac course at 25% off. I think I did. I can't remember.
Awesome course. It's an awesome course, and it's not, as you said, it's not garments, so it's a great place to start if you've never tried it before. It's a really great place to start. And you only need a normal crochet hook for it, don't you?
That's right.
I love that. You don't even have to buy new kit.
Nope. Don't have to no excuses. That's what I always say. Exactly. No excuse.
Exactly. And Dana's saying it was a great presentation. I've been looking for a V-neck crochet pattern. Can't wait to try it. Yeah, it looks so classy. I love that. I love that design.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we're being asked every day in the recorded videos and lives, I see the designers wearing beautiful handmade items. How do I find these patterns? I think probably the best bet is just to visit our websites or Etsy shops.
Yeah.
That would be the best place. Like all of my designs are in my Etsy store or my Ravelry. And I think the same will be true for you as well, I suppose, Veronika, won't it? So yeah, go and find us. And also in the when you log in on the course, whether you've got the free or the VIP, each designer has got their own bio and links and stuff. Yep. So go in and find them through there. And don't forget as well to do your freebie sign up as well. There's a freebie sign up for every single designer that has taken part.
Yes.
Firelight Creations is a great presentation. How do you handle the curl when you're making a garment and need to try it on for a fit as you go?
I just kind of go by measurements, because if you work in a raglan style, for example, like some of those patterns were there, it's kind of like you can leave them. It's a bit like trying on knitting, so you can work the forward pass, leave all your loops on your flexible
Oh, yeah.
cable, and try it on as you would try on like a knitted top down sweater. Leave your loops on that cable, so you can then kind of pull them down. If you pull on the cable and straighten out the cable, it'll kind of straighten out the curl of the Tunisian. With flat panels, it would be the same as if you were trying on. You can only try it on once you stitch it together quickly. So if you don't want to commit and stitching it together properly, you can just do a few big stitches to hold it together and hold the curl down as well. Just pop it on quickly, and then once you happy with the fit, you can take out those big stitches. It's like, I think it's sewing is like a basting stitch. When you're doing sewing, you kind of just hold the fabric where you needed to hold it, but not actually commit to sewing with the sewing machine. So you could do that as well, and that will hold the curl down. But definitely leaving your loops on a flexible cable when you're trying on top down stuff. That's the way to go, because you can then pull the curl down. Yeah.
And this is a good point Darlene's made about, I assume, making the sleeves at the same time. I think it would also help keep them even as well. Definitely. Yeah, your tension will match for the rows then, won't it? Yeah, or rounds, whatever you're doing. Yeah, definitely. And Joanne saying, I plan to make my own pullover with the Tunisian knit and add some ribbing and cuffs at the neck. I love that idea. Love it. I love it.
Yeah, those cuffs really help with the little curl. You can just, if you put the ribbed cuff on it, it will completely disappear.
Definitely. And Valerie said it was a great presentation. I've only done straps for dresses in Tunisian crochet. Oh, actually, I've done belts. I've done belts and bag straps. I've definitely done some in the past, but seeing the garments make me want to make some. And I think of that as well. I'm like, do you know what? If I can make a strap and I can make this and I can make, then of course I can. Of course I can. And Vicky's agreeing as well, thinking that sleeves are more consistent when you work two at a time. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And Maribel saying, wow, I've done Tunisian and the entrelac, and I wasn't crazy about it. Now I know why and what I can do differently. I'll give it another chance. Oh, yay, awesome news. And that is often the case, isn't it? That we find if people try something and it doesn't quite work out how they'd expected it to or they want it to. And so it's very easy to kind of just go, no, not for me. But actually finding the resources and the knowledge and someone with the experience that you have is invaluable, isn't it? To then go, I know why that did that. And now I know how to fix it. It's like when you figure out gauge and stuff, isn't it? And you go like, that's why that isn't working right for me. When you know what to do about something, the world is a much happier place. And then Valerie's saying, but how heavy is it? Would it be practical for a hot, humid climate like Houston? So it is like you said, it is a denser because it's got like a double set of loops, hasn't it?
But as you've seen in a presentation, it's I mean, standard crochet could be heavy and thick for humid climates, of course. So I think Tunisian crochet is no exception to this. If you get the right combination of your fiber of the yarn for hot, humid climate, so like a bamboo or cotton, then your yarn weight, so go as thin as you can, a fingering weight or even lace weight if you can, for something for really hot and humid climate. And again, the combination of the stitch and the hook size, you can achieve really light, airy, breathable fabric with Tunisian crochet as well. So like I said, with standard crochet, if you make a fabric of bobble stitches in worsted weight yarn with a tiny hook, it's going to be stiff and heavy. But so like I said, the combination of all these different factors, even with Tunisian crochet, you can definitely create light and airy fabric. If you saw my Lacy Shells shawl, so that kind of fabric was created in Cottony DK, which I believe is I'm not sure they still make it. I don't think they do, but I think that was a combination of cotton and acrylic. But with the combination of the lacy shells, the large hook, and the fiber of the yarn, although it was a DK weight, honestly, I wish I had the shawl on me, but you could, it's just so drapey, so light and so airy. It's really not stiff at all. It's not thick at all. So that would be a great stitch, the lacy shells, to go for with a bigger hook. And if you could go to like a cotton yarn in fingering weight, I think you can make yourself something really light and airy for hot and humid climate as well.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, and Jeanette's asking, is it very difficult to learn how to increase or decrease when making garments?
Nope. It's easy.
I love that. I love that. And it's again, it's one of those things, once you know it, you'll be fine. You'll
yes.
be fine.
So if you actually, I have got a Tunisian increase and decrease video tutorial on my YouTube channel if you wanted to go and have a look. Or it's even on the blog bluestarcrochet.com. So it depends on a stitch. But as an example, I showed Hannah the shawl I'm working on. So it kind of starts at the bottom and it increases on both sides. And all you need to do is insert your hook under the horizontal bar of the stitches before you work the first stitch. So you just kind of pick up an extra loop onto your hook under the horizontal bar. So there are different ways to increase and decrease, but it's really not difficult at all. It's not like knitting where you kind of have to make a loop. You kind of have to keep transferring stitches back and forth, and it gets really scary because I'm always scared I'll drop a stitch. But with Tunisian, you just insert your hook under the horizontal bar, pull up a loop on the hook, and you've got an extra stitch.
Amazing. Joanne's asking, have you worked up Tunisian crochet in the round, and what would you recommend first? Entrelac first, then in the round?
I have done a quick project in Tunisian crochet in the round. It hasn't seen the light of the day just yet, but I have done it. So you need double-ended Tunisian hook for the technique in rounds, and also you need 2 separate balls of yarn, and you kind of
hello. What was
hello.
Happy birthday, everyone.
What is going on with this thing? We had the thumbs up earlier.
No, goodness knows. Don't know.
Okay, anyway, for the technique in round, you will need 2 balls of yarn, and it's basically just turning. So in standard crochet, you just keep going round and round. If you're doing Tunisian in round, you kind of pick up the loops, then you spin it round and work the loops back off. And you just,
I see.
You keep turning it. So you're still working on the same facing side, on the right side, but to work the return pass, rather than going back, you still have to go in the same direction. So you need to turn your project and go in the same direction as the row is going. So, but to try first, I would probably suggest the entrelac, because you don't need a special hook. You're only working with kind of like 8 stitches at the time. So it's not a lot of overwhelming loops on your hook. And plus you have got that great offer for the course if you wanted to jump in there. I go right from the basics. So we talk about forward pass, return pass. I'll teach you the simple stitch, and then I'll teach you how to make all the different squares you need to build up the fabric for the entrelac. And then you can turn the fabric into whatever you want it to be, whether the bag or the shawl or the hat that's included in the course. So yeah, I think entrelac would be a great place to start. Yeah.
And then we have another vote for the 2 sleeves at the same time. Yay! But was also surprised that you use a larger needle than the pattern says. Yeah, definitely. It was interesting then that you said like at least 2 sizes bigger. So like significantly bigger than it actually recommends on the yarn ball. And I found that though for crochet hooks, the knitting needles are much more accurate, I feel, on yarn bands, whereas crochet hooks sometimes actually have a bit of fudge factor anyway, don't they? Because very often it will say a 4mm for DK, and I'm like, well, I quite like using a 4.5 or a 5. So yeah, experiment. And that we've said this both days so far, haven't we? Of just have a go, and see what works. Oh, and on that, then I had a question. Did you mean 2 sizes up from what the yarn says and not what the pattern says?
Yes. So you should go if you are doing something off of your own back. So say you want to grab a ball of DK weight and it says 4mm hook on the ball band. For Tunisian crochet, start with the 6mm as a standard. Of course, with the pattern, if you are following the Tunisian crochet pattern, the designer would have taken this into account already. So when they give you the hook size, this has been already accounted for, at least with my patterns. I'm not speaking for every single Tunisian pattern out there, but at least for my patterns, that kind of a rule of thumb is already accounted for. And then, of course, if you're making a Tunisian crochet garment or you want the shawl to be the same size, you would then have to go ahead with a gauge swatch. And depending on the gauge swatch, you might have to go up another hook size or down half a hook size and so on to match the gauge of the pattern.
Yeah. Right, we've got a couple of minutes left, so quick fire questions. When does the discount code expire for your?
It's available indefinitely for now. Yeah.
Excellent.
There is no cutoff at the moment.
Do swatches work the same as with regular crochet gauge?
As in, yes, so you will still have to count the amount of stitches and the amount of rows that you fit into the 10 by 10 or 4 by 4 inch area. So it's the same process for making a gauge swatch. Yeah.
Cool. And this one's about yarn choice being important. You said fingering was best. What fibre and brands are your favourite?
I really like, we call it sock yarn. So it's like a superwash merino fingering weight. I love that because it's easy to work with. It glides really nicely over my hook and it's really easy to care for as well. You can give it, I still hand wash my garments, but if you were pushed for time, you could actually put in a washing machine and it would be okay. But yeah, superwash merino fingering weight, it's my favorite. As for brands, any brand really, I don't kind of limit myself to any brands, but superwash merino fingering weight would be great for these patterns.
This is an interesting comment from Darlene saying, I made an Afghan from an old 1950s pattern called the Tunisian entrelac stitches were called Afghan stitches. And then someone else further down has also said that they know them as Afghan stitches. So I never knew that. Yeah. So to do Afghan stitching all the time. That's really interesting. We have evolved. We do change, don't we? What we call things and what we term things. So we found this, didn't we, with the seaming presentation about different people's different understanding of mattress stitches and like, what do you call it? I call this, etc., etc. So someone's asking for the link for the class in the chat again. So let me grab that for you. And now everything's pinged back.
Yeah, and I think we're slowly running out of time. So
we are. Oh my gosh.
If you do have any more Tunisian questions, honestly, email me at veronika@bluestarcrochet.com. Anything that's not making sense or you just wanted to have a quick chat, please do email. But I think we're going to move on to the fabulous Michelle from Dora Does. Michelle's back for the second year of the summit with her presentation about adding ribbing to your garment. And this is a great presentation to join with the Tunisian presentation, because if you finish your sleeve and it's curling up, then choose one of these amazing ribbon stitches that Michelle's going to show us to just combat that curl and add a nice little cuff onto your sleeve or a hem onto the bottom of your jumper. So head over to Michelle's presentations and we will see you very shortly for the live Q&A with her.
See you soon.
See you soon.